I've made videos ranking the areas in the whole Xenoblade trilogy, so obviously I have to make one of these videos for Xenoblade X, the game that's centered around exploring. I'm ranking 7 major areas in X, which doesn't sound like much, but they are way bigger in scope compared to the locations of the previous Xenoblade games. But before we start the ranking, I'll just say that I'm not including the waters or ocean parts of this game. I just have the same thing to say about all of them. The music here is really good, but there's just no reason to ever be here. I think it's a stretch to put these places on an area ranking, but I did want to mention them because the music here is super relaxing. But yeah, honestly, I really can't say that there is any bad area in Xenoblade X. But then Xenoblade X Definitive Edition came out and introduced number 7 on the ranking. Okay, I actually don't think Volataris is bad. It's more that I dislike the conditions you're in when you can explore it. Volataris is only accessible during Act 3 of Chapter 13, and once you beat the game, you can't go back to it unless you complete Acts 1 and 2 again. This being the only limited time area in the game already doesn't do it any favors, but I have some more problems. In the story, you have 2 objectives while you're here. The first is to find the spears to weaken voids, and the other is to find your party members again. I like both of these ideas in concept, but during my playthrough I just got tired of searching everywhere. Out of curiosity, I fought the final boss before getting all the spears and I still wiped the floor with him, so clearly you don't need all of them. It's also funny to me that I somehow never found Gwyn, and yet he still showed up during the final cutscenes. But this just adds to why I don't feel any obligation to complete these collection quests. I can beat the final boss without the spears, finding my 20 party members takes way too long, and after the credits the game resets to before chapter 13, so it almost feels like none of this even matters. I like the Volataris battle theme, but for the life of me I couldn't remember the exploration music here. After looking it up again, yeah, it's pretty nice. I just didn't spend enough time here to remember it. I still enjoyed Volataris overall, but I would have liked it more if I could access it whenever I want after beating the game and if the story objectives didn't take so long. Number 6. Cauldros. Xenoblade X is infamous for jump scaring you with enemies that will keep chasing you, and Cauldros is the biggest offender by far. In all other continents, you can see the enemies from afar so you can stay out of their line of sight. In Cauldros, you can get noticed by flying drones that are all the way up in the sky. This makes sense, it is supposed to be the enemy's lair, but that doesn't make it any less annoying when you're lower leveled. The lava here is also inconvenient to say the least, and there are 2 weather conditions in Cauldros that will let you take damage over time. Yes, these are all small issues that can be worked around. Just use Shadowrunner to not get seen. Just change the time to get rid of the weather. But these small annoyances do add up over time. I have spent one whole evening exploring Cauldros so I could unlock Mia, and I just felt like I had lost a part of my soul by the end of it. The music here is at least pretty good. It doesn't really compare to the bangers of the other areas, but it definitely fits the dangerous atmosphere. Cauldros looks epic and I had some fun in it, but it just has too many little annoyances. Number 5. New LA. I'll just start by saying I love the day music here for being so energetic, and I think I love the night music even more for perfectly capturing the vibe of hanging out with the bros at night. For the rest, NLA is not as big as the other continents, but I do like how you have to explore the city in some side quests, like when you have to find Yardley's machine. I actually almost forgot about this, but I also have to mention the Manon ship, if only so I can say that yes, the music here goes way harder than it has any right to. Overall, NLA is a mostly fun hub world. All the side quests where you have to find information by overhearing a specific NPC can go die in a fire, however. Even the music does not make up for how boring this is. Number 4. Oblivia. Aside from Cauldros, this is the only other area that has the electromagnetic storm weather, which damages you. Yes, in the remaster, you can just change the time whenever you want in the menus, but in the Wii U version, we had to skip travel all the way to a bench to do that. This weather condition used to suck, especially in the early game. That aside, I like Oblivia, even in the original Xenoblade X. But another reason I can't rank it any higher is that it just looks less interesting than its competition. Look, it's a desert wasteland, it's hard to make it visually interesting, and to be fair, Oblivia still makes the most of this theme. The floating islands and the big ring are some nice set pieces. I also feel Oblivia has some of the most memorable tyrants. I think almost everyone got caught by Barnabas the Despot during the story or Fox Affinity quests. And the highlight of Oblivia is of course the music. The day theme keeps you on your toes, the night version maintains the faster tempo while giving a softer spin to it, and both of these versions reach a climax that is just wonderful. Oblivia has some of my favorite day and night music. Gameplay wise, this region is rock solid. But if I had to choose, I would rather spend my time looking at 3 other areas. Number 3, Primordia. Every Xenoblade has a grassy fields area, but Primordia really sets itself apart from its siblings. The music from Gower Plains or Gormod instantly gets you pumped up with its high energy, while Primordia's music builds itself up with an ominous trombone taking center stage. This opening drives home that you're stuck on a whole different planet where everything's trying to kill you. And hey, if you do survive long enough, you will get to hear that typical bombastic Xenoblade music. It does a great job of setting the tone of Xenoblade X as a whole. It's also great that from the start you can go almost anywhere in this continent. You only need the flight module for a few FN sites that are just taunting you for half the game. But that makes it so satisfying when you can finally fly up there. Primordia doesn't really have a wow factor, but it acts as an amazing introduction to the player and remains fun to explore for the entire game. There's even a level 80 gorilla here, what more could you want? Number 2, Noctilum. For most people, this is the second continent they'll find, and on paper, a forest would be very similar to the grassy plains of Primordia. But Noctilum still feels distinct thanks to its music. Especially the vocals really help to make this such a unique area track in the series. It really sells the idea of going on an adventure in this huge jungle. You also get even more freedom than in Primordia. When you first get here, you can explore almost the entire area, until you get to this waterfall. Every continent has a few parts that you can only get to with a flying scale, and I think Noctilum handles this the best. Up here is the Telefia's territory, so it feels right that this is a late game area. Even before you get there, there's still a huge region to explore with so much variety in it. The poison swamps, the waterfalls, the giant trees, the tyrants that disguise themselves as broken robots. This is another thing I like about the region, the difficulty progression. I've seen so many people that try to fight level 14 Oscar only to find out how deceptively bulky giant enemies can be. Primordia mostly has smaller early game tyrants. The big ones in Noctilum are more challenging, but still beatable with the right preparations. Primordia is a good introduction, but when I get to Noctilum, it always feels as if the game opens up on an exploration and combat level. Number 1, Sylvalum. This is truly a unique place. This time, the day music is more subdued, while the night music is the more bombastic version. I've been in love with this music ever since 2020. It's one of my favorite tracks in the whole game. Sylvalum also looks beautiful. People often call it the snow area of X, but it's actually just white sand. So, in that case, I have to praise Xenoblade X for having one of the most beloved desert areas in any game ever. I also appreciate how you can still reach most of the higher parts in this region without flying. There are many convenient pathways leading to the higher spots of Sylvalum. The flight module still comes in handy, of course. You can go inside some spheres, inside a mountain, and not to mention the Zoo Fark fight. It was really difficult to decide, but in the end, Sylvalum and Noctilum are about as fun to explore, while Sylvalum is way more beautiful, making it my favorite area in Xenoblade Chronicles X. Feel free to tell me what your favorite place in this game is and subscribe for more Xenoblade content. This has been Maxmonado signing out.